Okay. For some reason, I'm going to go and do this little review. For some reason, the record button was not clicked when we first started. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen, I think. Let's see if I can share this right now. Oops. Did it show it? Yes, I think it did. Okay, it does. Okay, so I'm showing my screen right now. And I'm going to see if I can't move this up here. I think I used the agenda, but I want to showcase this for those that maybe are not in class today and they did not see this. There is an agenda that you will be able to see. And please note that you should review that agenda because it really is about the first part of the class that I did not tape. I just realized it did not tape. I thought it was taping and it was not. The first thing I went over is please be mindful of the what is developmentally appropriate support videos that have been made available to you. That assignment is due in week 4, which is next week. Please pay attention to the due dates. There is a narrative paper due and there is a media presentation due. There are like 3 or 4 support videos that will show. Some are already showing and one more will show. So please make sure you watch all of them as you begin or as you are working on this project. Please be mindful of the attendance in the course and the fact that if you are out and you are sick with an illness, you will need to produce a doctor's excuse in order to have an extension granted. Now, if you are at your child's cheerleading competition on a Saturday, I cannot excuse that, and I do not offer extensions in those situations. The only way you're able to get an extension is to have either a doctor's excuse or an obituary from a funeral where you have an immediate family member that has passed. You would just present the obituary and you would be covered. You would then be granted an extension for a certain amount of time that you could make up any work that you do not get to complete due to this illness or death in your family. Those are the only 2 ways that an extension can be granted. And also please understand, even though you are giving an excuse and it is documented, you still will be marked out for that class. You just get marked you get a mark of excused absence. And then the unexcused absence is noted when there is no excuse given. All right, but please make sure you understand how you get an extension. There's only 2 ways, and that is through sickness with a doctor's excuse or through the death of a person intimately or immediately in your immediate family. You would then be given an extension. Dr. Morey put a note in here for you to be paying attention to. This upcoming week is the 4th week of the course, and you will have the opportunity to go and do your own site observations. At this point, Dr. Morey has received all the information from everyone. She just wants you to be mindful of posting your login hours each week in Anthology. So this week you would place 1 hour. You would put the date, the time, and the 1 hour, and that's all you have to do. But you do have to set up a journal to do this. And at class time, no one in the class had started this, so we will work through it this week. And those that can do this, if you do this first, if you're one of the first people to do this, be willing to share with your colleagues, because it is hard to do in that nobody really gets how to do it. So it can be frustrating. The next thing I talked about in class was the Family Connections event. The information will show either this week or next week. This is a media presentation that you will do on the discussion board for week 6. It is not a formal paper. It is I think someone just got knocked out of class, so I'm going to get her back in. Okay, she's probably going to have to join back in. But anyway, yes, it's not a formal paper. It's just a PowerPoint, and then you walk us through it and talk us through it through a voiceover. And you can see pretty clearly that the instructions are in the Dropbox and in the discussion board under week, I believe, 6, if you want to see that information. The week 4 module will show tomorrow, and this does not include many assignments, although it is an important planning week. It gives you the final 2 lesson plan assignments, and the templates are provided for both lesson plans. It gives you the requirements for those templates, and it gives you the reflection assignment. There is no midterm or final in this class. So you are more than welcome to, you have plenty of time to work on these assignments as they are at the end of the course, but I just like to share them out during the 4th week and let you see what you're working towards. And then, of course, today is a group project. If you are not in class today and you do not have a doctor's excuse or some sort of information on the death of a family member, then of course you would not be able to complete the group project. I've had some discussion with some students that had to be out for other reasons. It wasn't really related to an excused reason, but they still had to be out. And I explained it like this: it is not going to hurt your grade that much if you do not submit something for the group project. The next assignment will bring your grade up, and we understand that sometimes you have to be out, and there are always valid reasons. It's just that the school policy is very specific, and that includes documentation that must be brought with your absence. So unfortunately, that's just the way it is, and just move past. If you were unable to be here today and you did not get to do the group project, it will not be the end of the world, and your grade will not tank. There's plenty of other assignments left, and your grade will come up just as quickly as you do another assignment. So just making sure that everyone understands that and how to submit. There's information here for those that are in class and watching this, or for you as to how you submit your group projects. Okay. So at this time, students are now in groups 1, 2, and 3, and I'm going to visit each group and see how they're coming along. I will stop the share. There we go. And now we're moving right along. I'm going to join group 1 to see how they're doing.
So you're saying, yeah, I see what you're saying. So you're saying you're doing it, but then maybe they come up to the board to help you.
Right.
Okay, yes.
Gotcha.
That makes sense.
So what are the other kids doing at their desk?
Well, I have mine to come to the carpet and sit down on the floor while we're doing it, so that everybody can be together.
Right.
Instead of having them sit to the table, because if they sit to the table, they're not going to be focusing on what's going on. So you have them come to the floor as a group.
All right. So did you get that one?
Yeah. So for the I Do You Watch, teachers modeling, putting together numbers, breaking them apart, using manipulatives, and the students are sitting on the carpet watching, right? Yes. And then for I Do You Help, the teacher is modeling, composing, and decomposing numbers while students follow along and help. For the students, what the students do part, that's them still on the carpet, but she's calling them up one at a time.
All of them,
or what?
Well, you wouldn't be calling them all one at a time,
right?
So maybe
you can set them off in group. That's when I was saying you could set them off in groups.
So then, are they still on the carpet in groups?
Group speak.
So maybe introduce it as
Miss Snellgrove just broke us off into groups. Like if she called us back together, only one person would speak. You just how you would do the children, set them off in groups and let them have different groups. And then you call on that group and let that one person out that group talk. Then you move to the next group and let one person out that group talk.
Or either you introduce as whole group and then separate into groups. That
But see,
can
that's
work
kind of
too.
jumping from the I do to the you do,
You do, yeah.
Right.
not the I do
Yeah.
you help.
Right.
I just think the student should, like, while the teacher's modeling, the student should just be counting with her
True.
on the rug or at their desk,
Right.
Yeah.
instead of coming to the board to do
Right.
it, because that's a you do. That's
Yes.
Let me.
Ebony, I wanted you to know I did not count you out.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
I think I said you were out, and I went, oh my gosh, she's not out. No, I didn't count you out.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we said we're gonna do kindergarten. Sierra, she's right there. Sierra, did you want to highlight it? I'll highlight it. Let me see if it'll let me.
Oh, wait.
It's not gonna let me highlight it because Sierra, she's right there.
Oh yeah, whoever's right there. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I don't know what y'all mean.
You're
Wait, I think,
yeah.
hold on. Let me see if it'll let me. Hold on. Okay.
So yeah, it should look like this at the top.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was working on this chart right here, but it's only so little you can put in each little section.
Oh, you just add. I'll just be editing it the way that fits for me.
You can
Mhm.
easily, if you need to use another document,
Oh,
you could expand it. You know what I mean? You don't have to just keep it on that.
Okay.
You can put it on a different document if you wanted to. I don't care. That'll be fine.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll make it work.
I'm about to say, who that coming in? Who's that creeping in your window?
So we could say because this one, okay, so the first one they're watching,
Mm-hmm.
so they will watch the video, and then let's see, to help.
Then we could do missing numbers, like maybe we write a number sequence on the board, but there are numbers that are missing.
So I like you help as the model.
Right. So, yep. So like I do write the number sequence on the board, that you help fill in the missing numbers. But
Okay.
maybe on this one it's literally like every other number so that they can still understand number sequence.
Mm-hmm.
Sense, yeah. And make sure that they're like not writing their numbers backwards and things like
Yep.
that. That being a common problem too.
Yes. So. Fine.
Would we need to state like how they're doing that? Are they like using like a whiteboard with a dry erase or?
Yeah, will we need to just show an example or like
Right.
use like a
What you did, for
strategy?
example, is exactly what I was thinking for what they would be
Okay.
doing.
So yep, they will fill in that missing one.
Yeah, example is fine.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
you don't have to go that deep. Just example's perfect. know why it's not doing that. Okay, so I'm back in the whole group section, and students are working beautifully on these assignments. As you can tell, just by going in there and viewing what they're doing right now, there's a lot of conversation. There's a lot of, do it this way, do it that way, so there's a lot of sharing of ideas right now. And this is the very most, I guess, important task at hand is being willing to share with others. So I think everyone is doing that wonderfully today. And this is the first time we've done it. So people are kind of probably not as, maybe they're a little nervous about it. But in all, I think it makes for a very nice day in class. And it certainly does give more of a student voice rather than just hearing my voice. And you can always learn from colleagues better. So that is what things are looking like right now. I will probably turn the camera off for a period as students are completing this work. And then when we come back to whole group, I will turn the camera back on, and then you'll see the conclusion of class as students share out their work. Okay, at this time, I'm going to send a message out to all the groups, and they'll be coming back in to join us as we gather together to hear the presentations. There'll be 3 presentations from the different groups on what they have learned during this segment. This is where we get to share out. Hi, Abigail.
Hi, I'm so sorry. I'm having some internet trouble.
That's okay. What group were you in? 3?
3, and we got all the way through. They were kind of creating a group document, and then it zoomed out and said Zoom crashed.
Okay, it's okay. No worries, hon.
Okay, I'll just hang out, I guess, then.
I'm gonna move you to group 3. Hang on.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me see if I can do that.
No problem.
There we go. Assign. Very good. Okay. And group 3, here you go.
Got
Should
it.
be there in a minute. Maybe it'll let you go. That is weird. There you go. Hey, Abigail.
Hi, okay. We were wondering how much longer we had.
Well, I'm in just a few minutes. Just a few minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, just a few minutes.
Can you put me back in the?
Yes, I can. What group are you
Thank
in,
you.
hon? What group?
Brianna and Sierra, not Sierra Jones, the Sierra with no last name.
Okay.
And the other Abigail.
Yes, I believe that is group 3. Yes. Okay, here you go, hon.
Thank you.
Okay, Abigail, did I get you in here?
Yes, got it.
Okay, the other
Catching
Abigail.
up.
I think I left her. Hold on. Good Lordy. Let me try again.
Okay. I said, oh, she left me.
I joined the meeting, not you. You know, whatever. Hold
It's
on,
okay.
hon. Hold on. I'm getting you in there, I pray. Join group 3. Whoa. That's the problem. I see what. Okay, hold on. Move to group. Well, I want it. Let me. Okay, it's got you in group 3. Isn't that weird?
Okay.
I have no idea why. All right, let me just start over. Yep, that's what it is. That's what it's saying.
Oh, okay. I can do it from my screen. I got it. I can
Okay.
join my breakout room.
Okay.
Thank you.
Cool, you're welcome. Yeah. Okay. She got in there. Okay. So that's what it is when you have these kinds of times. Yeah. Okay, if you did not get to finish the slide, it is okay. I know that time was limited, but it's almost 2, and I did not want us to miss out on some sharing. So if your slide is not completely ready, it's okay. You can always, you have until 11:59 to get that the way you want it. If it is ready, you can share it, but we understand if it's not, and you can just share out what your team found, okay? All right. Does everybody remember what group they're in? I certainly hope you do. All right, group 1. If someone could share out for us.
Sure. Tag in group whenever. So we did math for kindergarten. And our standard is, I'm making sure. Yeah. So our standard was decomposing and decomposing numbers within 10, which is KNR 51. Our learning gaps was that students are struggling with knowing like one-to-one correspondence, and some students do not understand the counting for leads to addition, which is composing, while counting backwards leads to subtracting, which is decomposing. Step 5, what had already been tried is we tried using hand-on activities to close the learning gaps by using like 10 frames, number bond maps, linking cubes, and other manipulatives to reinforce the concept of adding and taking away, and one-to-one correspondence and one more, one less. Now, scaffolding in action. I do, you watch is teacher models to put numbers together and break them apart using manipulatives. The students would be just sitting on the carpet and watching. An example is the student sitting on the carpet watching while the teacher used an interactive decomposing map on the board. Anybody want to join in? No? Okay. I do you help teacher models to compose and decompose numbers while students follow along and help. And then teacher also prompt open-ended questions to guide the students, of course. What students will be doing is counting out loud to assist with composing and the decomposing. Examples is students can use their fingers to assist with adding and taking away. You do, I do. Teacher breaks students into groups and provide students with those manipulatives. What students will be doing is decomposing and composing those numbers using counters in their group. Example, students can receive their own manipulatives to count up and to count down by composing and decomposing. And you do, I watch. The teacher gives students numbers within 10 to compose and decompose. Students compose, and what students will be doing is composing and decomposing that target number that is given within 10 without the teacher help. So an example would be 5, and they are decomposing and composing that number by breaking it apart. Monitoring and assessments. We're going to be explaining how the teacher observes, by listening and watching those students decompose and compose numbers within 10 by using those manipulatives. So the teacher's monitoring students' accuracy. And a reflection is it helped to have others bouncing around ideas. Our group definitely had the advantage of having a pre-K and kindergarten teacher in the group. Everybody in the group was very vocal and willing to help.
That's what I really wanted to know. How much did you gain from each other? Did you feel like you gained something by having that conversation?
Yes, it was really good, because I was like, oh, they could just sit at their desk and work, and then we had a kindergarten teacher and a pre-K teacher like, no, they go to the rug, and that's how we do our lesson. So no, it was really good. Yes. Very informative.
I love that. Thank you, pre-K and kinder people, for speaking up. I love that. Thank you so much. See, you're a better teacher than I am, and that's what this is all about. It truly is, because you learn more from others than you do from whoever's teaching. I believe that. Okay, group, that was excellent. Let's give her a hand. She did that. She did that solo, and she did a great job. Great job. Great job. I love it. Okay, group 2, can you share out, please? Whoever you are. Do we know who group 2 is?
I heard Sierra twice, and I don't know if I'm group 2 or group 3.
Oh dear. If you are in this
we
Sierra.
group 3. We're group 3, Sierra.
Okay.
Okay, so group 2,
I'm here. I guess I can share.
who's your spokesperson, or do you all want to speak?
I'm here.
Okay.
I'll share for us.
Okay,
So,
good deal.
So we chose to do. The standard that we talked about was we did kindergarten.
Yes.
For pre-K and kindergarten, that's the grade level we chose. So we talked about reading. Our standard was ELA, GSE, KRL, where we talked about prompting and support with retelling familiar stories, including key details. Basically, the gap where we're talking about children retelling facts about a story. The gap is that they can't comprehend or read really to be able to retell key details about a story. I gotta go through and tell you all the either we do or you do know from each other. Okay. Okay. So for the I do, basically the teacher is going to read through and show them how. When I read through a story, I go through each key detail, beginning, middle, first, next, then last. Then I'm going to place them in small groups. Well, no, not I place them in small groups. Somebody else, please jump in because I didn't do this part. We kind of did each individual part.
I'll jump in. So for I do for the you watch, the teacher reads the book and stuff, and she explicitly shows the students how to identify the beginning, middle, and end. And so what the students are doing, they're going to listen and observe how the teacher retells the story. And then some examples are like think alouds, modeling, or story language sentences starters.
Yes.
And then for I do you help, reread the story and ask guided questions to help identify key events, record responses using visuals. What the students will be doing at that time will be answering questions and help identify story events with teacher support. And examples of those would be guided questioning, shared retelling, and story strips.
Very good.
And with you do and I help, you will place the students in small groups and provide sequence cards. The students would be retelling the story with peers using visuals and teacher help. And examples strategies would be partner talks, sequence cards, and teacher prompting. And you do I watch. The teacher will assign a worksheet for the students to complete, that has a short story, and they have a cut and paste where they would have to show the order of the events in the sequence. The students will work independently on the assignment to demonstrate the understanding of retelling the order. And then on we have the example of what type of activity they would do. And it says the teacher will aggressively model to see who understands the given assignment.
Wonderful, wonderful. And that is a real weak area for kindergartners. They have a hard time telling you about the beginning, the middle, and end of a story. It's something you work on all year. It's certainly an area where children have a deficit. As to why that is that way, I don't know. I don't know if it's just poor listening skills or, but it is something you have to train them to understand. So clearly a excellent choice there in a standard to work on or work towards. What did this group find as far as a reflection, as far as what you gained from that opportunity to talk to each other?
I gained as I was talking to them I did 1 year in kindergarten a few years ago, and now I do first grade. I know Lastasha, she does kindergarten now, and the other, we have a pre-K teacher. I know Ebony does, she does a higher grade. So just us being able to, what I can see they teach. So I know I have them coming into my first grade class, and I know what Ebony, she can see what we're teaching, and she gets to see what she gets in the upper grade. So
That is good.
I want to go across the grade bands.
I love that. Very good. Anybody else from that group?
Pretty much, I just agree with what she was saying. Of course, I'm the first year kindergarten teacher. I come from second grade. So just knowing the difference between them, because I think, is it Ebony who teaches second grade? Was it Ebony?
I
Like
have
her
taught
and
second grade
or
before.
she taught second grade. So her and I both know how second grade look versus kindergarten. So yeah.
Yeah, excellent. So you're getting almost some vertical alignment here a little bit by having different people in different grade levels. I love that. That's a good point. I like that. All right, group 3, can you share out with what you came up with? By the way, all these are outstanding ideas. Wonderful work.
Yes, so I can speak for our group.
Yeah, come see who I am.
So we selected kindergarten,
Lisa.
and our learning gap was that students could.
Hold on just a minute. Has somebody got their mic on? If you do, turn it off. If you're not speaking, turn your mic off. That might help us a little bit. Okay, Sierra, you go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, y'all.
That's okay.
So yes, we selected kindergarten, and our learning gap could be the students who are not able to recognize the numbers 0 through 20 or how to represent those numbers with objects. The standard was to identify written numerals 0 through 20 and represent a number of objects with a written numeral 0 through 20. And so the learning gap could be that students might skip a number or not have numerical understanding. This could be the student's first time being exposed to the numbers if they didn't go to pre-K. And one more misconception was that students may not have an understanding of number sequence. What has already been tried. So having students use counters to count objects from 0 through 20, a number line with the numbers on there to have students match the numbers. And then you could start with 0 through 10 and then go up to 20 if you had to kind of scaffold based on what they might already know. And then our scaffolding in action would be, we would start off with the Jack Hartman video, them counting from 0 through 20, and then we will write a sequence and have students fill out the missing number. And then eventually they would do it on their own with a blank number line and number it from 0 through 20. In order to assess, we would look for 15 out of the 20 numbers to be labeled correctly independently. And overall, I feel like we were able to get done in a good, timely manner. We all were able to contribute great ideas and see someone else's point of view of like something that they may have used in a classroom. I don't teach kindergarten, but my son is in kindergarten, so kind of seeing his homework and seeing, what they're doing just kind of helped out with our group.
Wonderful. I love all that. That's fabulous. I will share this with you. This is just kind of food for thought if you do teach kindergarten. And I don't know what it is about teaching number recognition, but it is so hard. Students have such a hard time in kindergarten. Some of them, not all, but some of them really struggle with this. And so when I was an interventionist, after I retired, I went in and worked in the school like half a day. And I don't know what it was, but I found these numbers, like they were on pretty nice size cards where, they were, you could see it. I mean, it was visual, okay, and it was big. And I held those, and then I would give them out randomly to the group that I was working with. And then I would say, okay, we're going to put them in order. Now you have to lay your cards in front of you and look at them. And I don't know what it was about this, but I believe that helped those kids learn what number came next in getting to 20, because we went all the way to 30. But it was amazing. And then you saw where they would help each other, because one of them would go, hey, you got that number. It's your turn, So I don't know if it was the size of the number, because they were on the huge cards, and they delighted in doing that. But again, it was very hands-on. They held the number, then they had to put the number in front of them, and they had to be ready to come up there to get it in the order of 0 through whatever, So anytime you can make it real to them, or make it where they are having to physically get up and down and move around, I think it helps with being concrete. You know what I mean? I mean, when they were holding that number, and then they had that number in front of them, and they had to get up when it was in that number, even if they didn't know, somebody was over there going, hey, it's your turn. That's that number. You need to go. You've seen that. And so again, we learn more from each other than we do from the people that are teaching us. So keep that in mind when you teach. The other thing I loved hearing about today is I just love anytime you have those, and it's a big buzzword now, but it's good. It's good stuff, is that partner talk. Partner talk. If those kids can sit on that rug and do partner talk correctly, if they're instructed, if you've given them the rituals and routines of how to conduct themselves during a talk, that's when you really see some real concrete learning. I think if that kid can verbalize that and tell that other kid that. And even maybe a child that is struggling with communication and unable to put things together, they gain so much from the partner talk. Just a show of hands, do you feel that way? Do you see it working in your classroom? I know you've used it. I know everybody does. And it's such an effective means of finding out. You quickly learn, if you're listening, you'll quickly learn who knows what they're, if they can really transfer that to the other student. So that is it today. You've nailed it today. Thank you so much for your good participation and your willingness to do this. We'll have another one when we meet again on the 7th of February. You have quite a bit of work to do between now and deadlines that are upcoming, and be mindful of those. And if you are sick, remember, if you are sick and you have a doctor's excuse, just email that to me. I will take that, and we will work on an extension for any assignments that you may have missed due to being sick. Everybody gets sick, and I would highly recommend you go to the doctor and get an excuse so you can use that as far as if you were to need an extension. All right, Abigail, you have a question over here? Yes.
I just want to make sure for this assignment, we just hit start assignment and then just upload what we just did, right?
Yes, ma'am. Okay. That's all you have to do. What you've done in class is your assignment. You're turning that in. There should not be anyone that's worried about trying to turn that in, because you're just taking whatever you did as a group, and each of you are turning it in, on whatever group you were in. You just turn it in. Abigail, whatever you decided as a group, that's what you're turning in.
Okay, I was just making sure. Thank you.
Yeah. Does that make sense to everybody? All right. And before we close out, are there any lingering questions that need to be answered? Is there any stone that I have left unturned? Yes.
I have a quick question. So I know for week 4 we're doing our observation. Do you know which other weeks where we would need our observation?
Yes, you will be working on an on-site observation for week 4, week 5, week 6, and week 7.
Thank you.
By the time you get to week 8, you really should be at a point where you're done. But let's say you didn't start directly on week 4, and maybe you started on week 5. You would still have 5, 6, 7, 8. You just want to have those 4 observations in. And then on the week 8, you're going to report back on that discussion board one more time and talk about, I think, the whole experience as a whole. But that's not till week 8. But you do not have to write up anything each week for the observation. You only do that one time in week 4, and you do that one time in week 8. But that's all. You used to have to do it every time you did it, and it was a pain. It's too much. Okay? So that has been amended. Thank you for that question. That was a good one. Anybody else have something that is lingering or you don't have an answer for? Okay.
There's 2 assignments due tomorrow.
And I am not sure, are there? There may be. Let me see what I can see.
Almost the same.
Let me see what they are. Hold on.
Because they both say
They're just watching a
narrative
video. It's just watching a
okay.
video and
Just watching 2 videos and then writing about them.
No,
I don't even think you have to. I don't even think you have to write about them.
Okay.
I don't think you do. You have to write a statement, or maybe I don't know. But
It's
yeah,
right there after you watch the video. It's just you going over just work that we got. I guess we're getting ready to do, and it's work that's already. You just went over things that's already posted, but you just watch the video and just write done once you get completed it.
Yes. And I did that because there was no time in the class to discuss the assignment. So it's a pretty big assignment and there's a lot of things you have to do with that assignment. And I just felt like it was only fair to provide some type of support video where you could at least watch it and maybe feel more comfortable about doing it. Your assignments that you turned in for the brainstorming part was excellent. So I think everybody's in really good shape. Just keep thinking through it, and I know it'll be great. And you've got plenty of you've got 2 sample papers to look at, plus you've got the videos. I think you're in good shape. If you do have a question, if you feel stumped on something, you can certainly ask me. I do not mind. I'll be glad to try to answer your questions. All right. I believe we have hit the end of this class today. I have nothing else for you. I hope you have a wonderful week ahead. Thank you for coming today, and thank you for being such great participants. I love it. Thank you again, and I will see you later.